name is Jennifer, welcome back to my channel. This is the Book Postscript Tag. I was kindly tagged by Mo over at Ana Mo Shoshin, and the original was created by Adam at Mementomori. I'll link both their channels down below. I thought I'd do this tag as a nice way to round off my end of year content and to reflect on my reading in 2021. Question 1. The longest book that you read last year and the book that took you the longest to finish. So that I think would have to be House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I read this, I think partway through the year. I'd wanted to read it for a while. My library didn't have a copy. I ended up buying this. This is like 600 odd pages long. There was aspects of this book that I really liked, and then other aspects that I didn't quite get on with. But I may well revisit it at some point in the future because yeah, I think it's quite an interesting read, and I am interested in reading more what is it called, Agodic literature, I think, which is like literature that is sort of unusual in its form and concept, but yeah, I think that was the longest book that I read last year. Question 2, a book you read this year that was outside your comfort zone. Okay, so this, I think, well actually I'm going to give 2 answers for this. One which I didn't get on with very well, and another one which I did. So the one that I didn't get on with so well was Clay's Ark by Octavia E. Butler. So this is like a sci-fi novel. It is set in a dystopian world involving aliens and this deadly disease, and the disease makes infected people have this compulsion to procreate and therefore to spread the disease, and I didn't like this book at all. It's very strange, and I normally like weird books and I normally like quite dark and disturbing books, but this was too disturbing for me. It was too much. It's the only Octavia Butler book I've read. I'd be quite interested in reading Kindred, but reading Clay's Ark has slightly put me off a little bit, because it's so strange. And then the other book which I read last year, which I would say is outside of my comfort zone, I will grab now. But this one worked out well for me, is No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. So I picked this up because it was originally it was it shortlisted? Shortlisted for the Women's Prize, and then it was longlisted for the Booker. And this is a book that I kept picking up in the bookshop. Because I was kind of interested in it, but then I kept thinking, no, I don't think it's going to be for me. And actually I'm really pleased that I did pick it up because I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Question 3 is, how many books did you reread in 2021? So I actually reread 7 books last year, which is more than I realised that I had reread. So the books that I reread were Jane Eyre, The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, Anne of Ingleside by Ella Montgomery, which is the 6th book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and Nights of Rain and Stars by Maeve Binchy, which I don't think I've mentioned Maeve Binchy before on my channel. I actually own all of Maeve Binchy's books. A lot of them are secondhand, which is unusual for me to own like all the books by an author. But Maeve Binchy is a real comfort read for me, and I know I reread several of her books in 2020 when we went into lockdown because I just needed Maeve Binchy. Other books that I've reread that I don't have copies of were Hercule Poirot's Christmas, I read in December. I reread Affinity by Sarah Waters, which I loved. I reread Pereira Maintains by Antonio Tabbuchi. So when I read it in 2021, it was the first time I'd read the English translation, but I read the original Italian many years ago at university. Is that 7? I think that's 7. Question 4 is your favourite reread of the year, and that for me has to be Affinity by Sarah Waters. I talked about this a lot in my favourite books of the year video. But yeah, Affinity is amazing. I think it's got a great setting, great plot, great characters, great writing. But as well as that, there is something about that book that speaks to me on another level, and I just adore it. Question 5 is a book that you read for the first time that you look forward to rereading in future. So I've got a couple for this. Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura, which is a Japanese fantasy novel, which again I talked about in my favourite books of the year. And I'm looking forward to rereading that because it was such a surprise for me, and there's so much in that book and it's really cleverly done. And I had such a wonderful time reading it, so I am looking forward to rereading that one. Another one I'd like to reread at some point in future is Lemon by Kwon Yeo-sun. This is a Korean novel. It's very short. It follows the aftermath of the murder of a young girl. It's quite unusual. It doesn't give you all the answers on a plate. It was one of those books when I got to the end of it, I kind of immediately wanted to go back and reread it again to see if what I thought was going on was really what was going on. So that is a book I would like to reread at some point in future as well. Question 6, favourite single short story or novella that you read. So I would say Hello Mum by Bernardine Evaristo, which I listened to on audio right at the start of the year. This follows a young boy, I think he's 14 years old, living in London, and he is writing a letter to his mother. It's about violence and about gang culture, and it's a really, really clever novella which I would highly recommend. Question 7, Mass Appeal, a book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. So I would say An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. I really, really enjoyed this book. It's won the Women's Prize a few years ago. I've never heard anyone, I don't think, say anything really negative about it. We follow a couple, and the husband, right at the start of the book, has been imprisoned for a crime that he did not commit. And we know as the reader that he did not commit this crime, and so what follows is the impact of that on the relationship between the husband and wife, and how that plays out. It's really well written, great plot, great characters. I think it's an all-round really solid book that a lot of people would enjoy. And then question 8 is Specialised Appeal, a book you liked but would be hesitant to recommend to just anyone. So my answer for this is Untold Night and Day by Bae Swa. This is a Korean novel, again quite a short novel, and it's very, very strange. This is actually a book I'd quite like to reread as well at some point in future. So we follow our main character, who is a young woman who has just lost her job. It's set in the sweltering heat of Seoul, and it's very dreamlike, fever dreamish. Characters morph into different people, relationships between people just sort of change as we go along. There's some repetition in certain sections of the book are repeated, and it's a really, really strange and unusual and really dreamlike read, which I liked, and I kind of think it's a genius book, but I would like to reread it again to really, I think, fully appreciate it. And that's why I'd be hesitant to sort of recommend it to just anyone, because I don't think there's a lot of people that maybe wouldn't necessarily get on with it because it is so strange. And then finally, question 9 is reflect on your year as a bookish content creator. That sounds very fancy. So I started my channel, I think, in August, and I didn't have any particular goals when I started my channel. I just sort of wanted to do it because I wanted to talk about books, and I remember when I started saying if I can get like 20 subscribers then this is a success, and I've got over 100 subscribers, which is amazing. I know that obviously I'm a very, very small channel in booktube land, but to me to have over 100 subscribers is loads. So thank you to everyone who watches my videos or has subscribed. I think my main goal when I started, I guess, was really just to enjoy it, just to have fun talking about books with other people. I think I've met some really lovely people through starting my channel, And one thing I was very keen, I guess, not to do was for my reading to become dictated by my channel, and that hasn't happened. I read the same as how I read before I had my channel. You know, I don't feel any sort of pressure to read a certain number of books or to read certain types of books. And I'm just having the best time. I do have a question for anyone who has their own booktube channel, and that is, at what point did you tell people that you have a channel, and have you told people? Because I have told very few people about my channel, and I don't know, I kind of feel like I want to tell people, but then I feel like, is it a bit cringe? I don't know. So I'm actually really interested. If you have a channel, let me know, like, at what point did you tell other people, if you have told them? Yeah, let me know. The final question is actually to tag people. I'm not going to tag anyone because I feel like a lot of people have sort of rounded off their end of year content now, but if you are interested in doing this tag, consider yourself tagged. Let me know in the comments below so I can go and watch your version of this video. If anyone doesn't have a channel and wants to answer any or all of these questions, then feel free to do so in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all doing well, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye.